Okay, finally works. It's driving me crazy. It keeps recording behind the screen and it doesn't show anything. Oh, it's driving me nuts. So, today is February 22nd, and in honor of George Washington, who is 292 years old today, we're going to crack open a little bit of George Washington's Rye Whiskey, historic recipe, distilled and bottled by hand at George Washington's distillery, Mount Vernon. That is at the Gristle. No, I forgot what it's called, but I got my Mount Vernon shot glass, which has never been used. I had to clean out some dust. So we're gonna, not much celebration. Drink at home if you would like. Not recommended. You know, if you're one of my Muslim subscribers, just pretend it's water. Just peel off the price tag. So in honor of Washington today, I'm gonna just doing one shot. This bottle, just so we can make a nice comparison. This is a soda can. You see the size of the bottle compared to the can. This was $90, and you can see it's only to there. It is very, very, very special occasion. Very, 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 very special occasion. Very special occasion. Very, 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 very special occasion. Do you want me to keep going? I will. I'll keep going. Oh yeah. And this was bottled in 2020, and it was batch number 316. And they used to sell out, and they won't ship to Illinois, my state. They'll ship to some states, but they won't ship to my state. I have to go there and get it. But I got this after COVID. It's 43% alcohol, by the way, if you were wondering. I got this after COVID, where now they don't sell as many. But in honor of this, we're going to watch Personal Tour of Mount Vernon by George Washington. It's the real George Washington. Seriously. So, I'm going to down this, and we'll get into the video. Well, we'll get into the video, and then I'll down it. To George. Well, sorry. I guess I can't cheer yet. Oh, come on. I got an idea. Why don't you just work? There. Of course, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Good day. I have understood that you had some curiosity about the house, and I'm
We're going to start over.
very pleased to be able to...
Shut up, George. Shut your face. Shut up. Okay, we're going to try all this all over again because my computer froze, and I hate this computer. Okay. Start all over again like it never happened. Personal Tour of Mount Vernon by George Washington. I'm going to have to chase this immediately because it's straight rye whiskey.
Good day. I have understood that you had some curiosity about the house, and I'm very pleased to be able to answer questions for you. This is where I begin every day, although I will tell you that it is not common for us to have guests here. My wife and I, when we'd been married some 13 years, we decided that we wanted to have our own bedchamber that was somewhat separate from the rest of the house, and so I added an extension upon the house to the south part, and this and the study below were the result. Every day I begin here, and I am not dressed in what I currently am, but I shall not be exposing myself to any criticism in that nature right now.
Just so we're clear, that is the bed. It's not the same bed, but he died in his bed, and that is the bed which you can't see behind the curtain. That's his back staircase right over here.
And
Personal.
as my wife will stay up here for some time and begin some of her meditations for the day, and also will take some time in what is considered her office here. But then I shall head down the stairs. Something I must warn you about. I have quite a bit of difficulty when I pass through these stairs. I almost always have to duck to avoid hitting my head, and if I do not remind myself to do so, it takes great effort not to let oaths fall from my mouth. But as you can see, while the house has been built to my every desire, sometimes things fall a bit short. And now we are entering my study, or my sanctuary. As I said before, after my wife and I were married some 13 years, we decided we needed a bit more privacy. We had many guests even then. And we built the bedchamber above and my study here below. Every morning when I rise, I come down.
Sorry. I was hoping that he would say something, but he did not.
We decided we needed a bit more.
Okay, this right here, this chair, see this little pedal? What you can't see up here, hanging down, is a little fan. And I don't think the chair rocks. No, I don't think the chair rocks. The chair is of itself. But when you put your foot on this pedestal right here, you push down, and as you push down, it causes the fan to fan. And it's supposed to be, it causes the fan to fan. Good words. It's supposed to help cool you during the summer, but he said all it really did was just keep the flies off your face. It didn't actually work as it thought, but it was one of those good ideas that just didn't quite work.
Privacy. We had many guests even then. And we built the bedchamber above and my study here below. Every morning when I rise, I come down the stairs, come right through this door where I change into my clothes for the day, and then I begin the work of my correspondence, which is voluminous. It seems that letters come from all corners of the globe, and I am constantly needing to continue to write. But in here, in my private area, I keep my books, which I've collected over the many years, and I keep some other mementos that I think are important to keep close.
There's that fan that I was telling you. I was just saying. I was telling you about. Yeah. There it is, though. You kind of see it, and there's I can't describe to you how it works. I just know you put your foot on it, and it works. It's really cool. I'm sorry. This is not about my experience. This is just George telling you.
To me, including that of my brother, Lawrence. My eldest brother, who was my very dear friend as well, and I don't think that anyone could ask for a better brother than what I had in Lawrence. When I was but 11 years old, my father passed away, and Lawrence very much so stepped into the breach that was left by him. I owe a great deal to him. Also, of course, I'm surrounded by other things, busts of Captain Jones, this fan chair, which seems to get a great deal of curiosity from some people, was one I purchased in Philadelphia. It does an adequate job of keeping one cool, although one does get their exercise in their feet at the same time. But let me take you on to the dining area. I think you'll find that more public areas of the home are perhaps more social and to your liking.
If you've never been, I hope you enjoy this kind of
After
walkthrough.
the business of the day, the correspondence and anything else that needs attention is taken care of in the study. Then we will come here for our breakfast. My wife usually sees to it that I have something good before me, quite often a large stack of corn pancakes covered with honey and butter. Very much to my liking.
Sorry, I just want to point this out. This right here, this door, is called a Christian door. Let me explain. Sometimes you will see a door like this. Right up here, you will see a half moon. I'm kind of drawing a picture for you, where you might see a piece of glass, something like that. But as it is right now, it's called a Christian door. See this right here? That's the cross. See this down here? That right here? You can see it over here too. That is the binding, and this is a page of an open Bible. It's represented. Open Bible with a cross. Now, if you were in America in the 1800s, and, I froze, and you were a traveler, and you came across that door, I don't know if the people knew that they put that door on, but most probably did. That door represented a safe place for you to come in if you were a weary traveler, and my shot's kicking in. You were a weary traveler, you could show up and they would greet you, let you come in, they would serve you a meal, maybe give you a place to stay, and basically it was letting you know that this was a safe place for you if you were a traveler. Not all people took them up. Some people would rather, unless you were really just lost or possibly dying, this was a good sign. If you were a Christian, you saw that and you just knew that instinctively that was a good place to be. And it's now, I don't remember what it's called. It's some door, but yeah, it was considered or called a Christian door. Don't believe me? You can Google it.
You may note the color of the room. I've been told many times that green is excellent for the digestion. And in this case, it is a verdigris green that, it's not easy to acquire, and it takes quite a bit of maintenance, but I'm quite pleased with the appearance of it. I hope you find it to your liking as well. This room has some very happy memories in it, and some not as happy, but I will leave that for another time. Perhaps you would like to join me in the entryway.
The central passage, this was the original house, I believe.
The staircase here, while it is very attractive, has the unfortunate effect of making it so that my windows from the west front are not as symmetrical as I would like.
Sorry. You see how there's a little space here, and then that window, and these three are all together? Because the banister comes up right there. He couldn't put a window there. He wanted to space it better. He couldn't. I'm just explaining it in case you don't know as to what he's referring to.
The compromise that I had to make while designing the house and enlarging it. We are now in the entryway, and that is the domain of our butler, Frank.
Here at Mount Vernon, my main duties are to supervise the other slaves working in this household and to greet all the guests that come through this door here. And if there is time, I'll even take them to meet the general.
And if the house is running properly.
That's Frank Lee. It's not the real Frank Lee. But that's Frank Lee. Frank Lee, when you're looking at the mansion, there's a building over here and a building over there. Frank Lee was became one of the greeters, but Frank Lee lived in the building to the right on the second floor. He was really well loved. But Frank Lee's brother, William Lee, or Billy Lee, is the one who, if you've ever seen Washington crossing the Delaware, standing up on that boat, Billy Lee is represented as like canoeing, and I pointed it out in some of the videos. But Billy Lee was Washington's manservant, right-hand man from 72? And I don't remember. He was there through the whole Revolutionary War. Ended up falling and breaking a knee, the actual knee bone. This isn't about Willie Lee, but I'll end it there. But Frank Lee and Willie Lee, William, it's not the shot. Billy Lee, that's who I was trying to say. Willie Lee, they were brothers.
I always know that is because of the great efforts of Frank. This over here might be of some interest to you. This is the key to the Bastille. This was a gift from the Marquis de Lafayette. When the Bastille fell, he saw to it that the key was packed and shipped to me. It passed through quite few hands before it came here to Mount Vernon. Below it is a picture of that fortress that he considered to be a fortress of tyranny. And so the symbol of the destroyed Bastille and the key that is left, he now says, is a symbol of liberty and the end of tyranny. May it ever be so. But perhaps you might like to see the formal parlor. This is our formal parlor. And as you can see, it is arranged for entertaining guests. The portraits are those my wife quite likes. This one, of course, done by Mr. Peel that she requested. But the others here were actually done before I married her. They were done by an artist by the name of Wollaston. And you may note that the portrait here and the portrait of the children on the other side all bear the same eyes. It is a feature of Mr. Wollaston's work which I cannot abide by. I find it very disturbing and nothing like the figures themselves. But Mr. Wollaston was very popular in these parts, and my wife, of course, having lost both of the children, now very much so, views these as too dear to ever put away, put down, although there were some better portraits of them made. Still, this is the room where we'll most likely bring guests if we are having a more formal situation, but this is not the family parlor. That is just over the way. Let me take you there. This is our family parlor, and far from the formal parlor, this is the one where we spend our time together as a family. Quite often in the evening, after our supper, we will read from the newspaper, or sometimes from books that we've been reading, perhaps a passage from a play. Very entertaining evening spent here, with friends and family alike. Also, you may note that my granddaughter plays at the harpsichord. I myself cannot raise a note on instrument or by voice, but she has become very accomplished. And the wallpaper in here is a cherry blossom theme. It delights my wife, and I don't think I've ever seen a cheerier wallpaper in all of Virginia. Well, might we then continue on out to the piazza, yes?
This is one of the best parts, just the view.
I've often said that there's no home more happily situated in all of America than Mount Vernon. The view from the piazza speaks to that. You can see our neighbors in Maryland from here. We can see all the trade that is coming up the river. And it is an excellent place to spend the afternoon. My wife and I quite often will take our dinner right here on the piazza. Enjoy that breeze that cools you in the afternoon. Our guests have found it quite delightful as well. I think that there is perhaps no place within the house that feels as much like a room without being one. It is my outdoor room, if you will. But let me take you a little further into the new room. This is what I call the new room. I began this project in 1776, but it was more than 10 years before I saw it completed. I wanted a more genteel room for entertaining guests, something that spoke of the direction I saw America headed, and certainly hoping that our fortunes would follow. Farming is the theme, of course, as it is through most of my home. In fact, one visitor, Mr. Vaughn, was so impressed with what we were beginning here that he was kind enough to send me his very own fireplace here that is in itself a farm theme. And I've had it installed, and I think it works very well within the room. You may also notice some of the art, for instance, the Hudson River painting here. Just after the peace agreements were reached, and I was in Newburgh, New York, I had opportunity to take some of the land going up the Hudson River and saw some of the farmland. That western land that I feel will be very much so part of the expansion in our future. I think that that farmland, I've not seen any richer or more prosperous that has not yet been seized. And so I hope that at some point in the near future to acquire some of that land for myself, but I also see that being a great breadbasket for our future endeavors in farming. The plasterwork above, you might note, is that which is built by a gentleman I acquired from my sister. He was working at her house of Kenmore and began this plasterwork there, and I was so taken with it, I asked if he would come here and do a similar work here, but with my themes in mind instead. And this window is the window that Mr. Peel once said has what he called good painting light. He said painting from the north is always an excellent choice. And so that is the crowning piece of the room, I feel.
This window, the new room, this window, though, is where Washington's coffin was placed after he died. And it stayed there for 3 days. And friends and family got to come into the new room to pay their respects. Visitors who did not know him, you stood up on a stepladder and looked through the window at his body. If you take a tour, sorry, that was a whiskey burp. If you take a tour, they don't talk about that. So if you do take a tour and you want to fact check me, just say, any questions, say, yeah, was his body placed in this room? Yeah, right there. And they'll tell you all about it. But it's too morbid to talk about on a tour unless you bring it up, which I think is stupid. I think you should. They have no problem telling you this is the bed he died in. You know.
Well, I certainly hope you've enjoyed our walk through the house today. I hope you will come back and see us again very soon. It's a great pleasure to be with you.
Yes, the Mount Vernon Ladies Association, had they not stepped in to purchase the home, it would have fallen apart. They were using, really, there you go. They had beams put up here because this was falling. And did you notice the? Let me go back. You see this right here? See the blocks? That's not concrete. It's done like that to look expensive. That's wood. It is a long piece of wood that has etches in it from, a woodcutter that's etched in to look like a cinder block. And then a paint or adhesive was put on there, and sand was just thrown all over it and coated. So when you feel it, it's got a feel, a texture of like a cinder block, like a concrete, but it's not. And there are areas of the house where you can walk around, not the house itself, but where Frank Lee lives. And I've got pictures of it, but you can see where they just stopped because that was the view. You weren't going to be walking down here, so they didn't need to kind of continue that attempt to deceive you to think it was more fancier than it was. But maybe 3 years they have to go through and retreat it. Could be every 2 years they have to go through and resand it and everything. But anyways, I'm going to end it here. I almost started to let it play to go to the end. I already did. All right, I'm going to end this here. I hope you enjoyed it a little bit. Personal tour of Mount Vernon. This is going to go up tomorrow, which will be Friday, the 23rd. So as you're watching this, just know that it's about 4 p.m., after 4 p.m., and it's Washington's birthday today, which would be Thursday. And so this is my just kind of respect to him. I hope this doesn't get blocked. Probably will. But anyways, I've got a couple Washington videos I'm going to make today in honor of the man. But until next time. Oh, yeah. There's a thanks button on the channel. You can donate. You don't have to. Subscribe if this type of stuff you like. I love Mount Vernon presidents, all kinds of stuff like that. I just do. And you can give a thumbs up. Outside of that, just have a good day, have a good night.